Hey everyone, welcome back to Vanguard for Freedom. So, just in the past couple of days, President Donald Trump brought up something once again that got a lot of attention a few years ago: his proposal to buy Greenland. Now, when he first proposed this, many people laughed it off as completely absurd, but in light of recent events and the evolving geopolitical landscape, it might be worth reconsidering. Now, there's actually a lot more to this idea than most people think, and it deserves a closer look. Let's dive into it. So, first of all, Greenland is strategically located right in the heart of the Arctic. This region is becoming more and more important each year as countries like Russia and China are significantly expanding their military and economic presence in the Arctic. For years, the US has maintained a critical military base there, Thule Air Base, which plays a major role in missile defense and surveillance. The US military has long viewed Greenland as a key strategic location, and it's no surprise that it plays a critical role in the defense of North America. But imagine the advantages for the US if it controlled Greenland outright. This would give the US more power to control Arctic airspace, global trade routes, and secure a dominant position in a region that's becoming more and more strategically important by the day. The Arctic isn't just an icy, remote region anymore. It's a hotbed for military and economic competition, and having Greenland under the US control could shift the balance of power in the region. Let's take a closer look at the military strategy. Greenland's location is perfect for monitoring and responding to activities in the Arctic, particularly as nations like Russia ramp up their military presence there. Russia has been fortifying its claims in the Arctic, including expanding military infrastructure on islands in the region. China, too, has its eye on the Arctic, not just for military reasons, but for access to resources and shipping lanes. If the US had full control over Greenland, it could act as a central player in controlling and keeping safe Arctic airspace, making it a powerful strategic asset. Imagine a situation where, if tensions were to rise, the US could respond much faster and much more effectively than relying on a foreign ally to control its territory. But the US already has significant military presence in Greenland, as we already mentioned. Thule Air Base, located in the northwest part of Greenland, is one of the most important US military installations in the world. It serves as a critical part of the US missile defense system, providing early warning detection of any missile threats coming from across the polar region. The base is also used for surveillance, monitoring air traffic and satellite activity across the Arctic. In addition, it's part of a larger system of radar stations and air defense infrastructure that helps secure North American skies. The US has been supporting Greenland military for years, and if the US were to officially own the island, this military presence could be expanded and strengthened even further. Greenland could become a major hub for defense in the Arctic, something that's becoming increasingly more important as geopolitical tensions rise. Another aspect to consider is the future of Arctic shipping routes. The melting ice has made these routes more viable than ever, drastically shortening the time it takes to ship goods between North America, Europe, and Asia. These routes have the potential to revolutionize global trade, and owning Greenland would put the US at the center of these new trade lanes. The US could control these shipping routes, giving it a major advantage in global commerce, and securing access to critical resources like oil, gas, and minerals. If the US controlled Greenland, it would be in the position to ensure that these trade routes are safe and that the country is a key player in future economic and geopolitical shifts. Speaking of resources, Greenland is incredibly rich in natural resources. The island holds vast untapped reserves of minerals, oil, and rare earth elements, materials that are becoming increasingly important in industries like technology, energy, and defense. These are exactly the kinds of resources that could benefit the US economy in the future. Owning Greenland would give the US direct access to these resources, reducing reliance on other countries for critical materials, and creating an economic boost for the US in a world where supply chains are becoming fragile and competition for the resources is heating up too. Controlling Greenland could provide a much-needed edge. Now, here's something that might interest you. It's not just outsiders who are for the idea. Some Greenlanders aren't totally against the notion of the US purchasing the island. While the Danish government rejected the idea of selling Greenland back in 2019, there are many in Greenland who see the potential benefits of the US owning the territory. Many Greenlanders support the idea of increased investment in the island's infrastructure and economy. The reality is that Greenland's economy, while growing, still faces challenges, such as a reliance on fishing, lack of infrastructure, and limited access to global markets. Let's not forget the US is not the only one interested in Greenland. Russia and China are increasingly asserting their presence in the Arctic. China has been making moves to expand its influence in the region, from funding mining projects to looking for ways to expand trade routes through the Arctic. Russia has also been building up military infrastructure in the region, pushing its territorial claims. So, in many ways, owning Greenland would provide the US with a buffer in the region, and it would ensure that no other country can gain too much of a foothold. In essence, it would be maintaining the US's position as global power and securing its interests in the Arctic. The Arctic is becoming one of the most important regions for global security. Military experts and international strategists have warned that control of the Arctic will play a central role in the future of global conflict and competition. By owning Greenland, the US would be in a much better position to lead in the Arctic, ensuring that its interests are protected, whether it's in terms of military power, economic influence, or resources. Now, I know that many people will still scoff at this idea, especially because it smacks of imperialism. Here's the thing: we need to protect our shores, simultaneously protect our allies, and keep other nations free. The shifting dynamics of global politics, the competition for resources, and the growing importance of the Arctic make this idea worth considering. When you look at this from military, economic, and strategic standpoint, Trump's proposal to purchase Greenland actually makes a lot of sense. It's not just about resources. It's about positioning the US to have a major advantage in the Arctic, both militarily and economically, for years to come while protecting allies. And I believe it's very important to protect our allies. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, and go to Vanguard for Freedom for more great content. Thank you.